We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
And you're back on Liberty Nation Radio, continuing our conversation with Liberty Nation's chief political analyst, Mr. Graham J. Noble. Graham, this is your bread and butter turf here as Liberty Nation's chief political analyst. It's the elections coming up just after the weekend here, depending on when you're listening to this show. And we have three, I think, fascinating races. We've got the New York City mayor election. We've got two gubernatorials as well, New Jersey and Virginia. Which one are you most interested in?
I think New Jersey is going to be an interesting race. I think it's going to be a tight race, actually. With Virginia, my personal view, and again, this is not a preference, certainly not an endorsement, but my personal view is that Winston Earl Sears is not going to become the first black female governor because, by the left standards, if you go by the standards of the Democratic Party and what they say, their voters, I guess, are too racist to elect a black woman. So they're keen to go.
Only if you believe what Barack Obama tells you.
That's right. So they're going to go with Spanberger, I think. But the New Jersey race should be interesting. And then there's another interesting aspect to the Virginia race is that the Attorney General's race is now there's at least one poll that shows that it's flipped.
It's a trend. Yeah, it's now a trend, actually. Yeah, there's more support for the Republican Attorney General after Jay Jones. I don't know how he so successfully managed to torpedo his political career. And I mean, that's something that Virginians are going to have to deal with. Should Jay Jones win and come through as Attorney General, they'll have somebody who wishes that his political opponent's children died in their mother's arms for being little fascists, his words. Mm-hmm. And they'll have to reckon with that as Virginians, and that's their vote, that's their right to do. But yes, it has flipped, and I wonder how much that flipping in the Attorney General race is going to impact the race between Abigail Spanberger and Winston Earl Sears for governor. Now, like you, I don't think it's going to go for Winston Earl Sears. The polling we have on the pages of libertynation.com, we have the Public Square, which is our aggregate polling machine. It's fantastic. I recommend everybody go and check it out. The graphics, the displays, the information are great. They look fantastic. Go and check that out. But the aggregate polling there has Spanberger up by 7.6 points overall. And I think the Jay Jones debacle might make that a bit of a closer crunch, but still maybe I don't really like to do predictions, but I think maybe like 5.5 points will be the final result there.
Robbie.
Yeah, it seems about right. Then, of course, you have New Jersey, which, as you say, is quite an interesting one because I also think it'll be close. I'm actually looking at the stats on our Public Square here now, and it's a difference of 5.2%. But Jack Ciattarelli has a habit of overperforming there based on the polls, doesn't he? I think against Phil Murphy, he was just he ended up just at like 3 points behind last time. Why do you think that is?
It's kind of funny. New Jersey is a strange state when it comes to.
I was there a couple of weeks ago. You don't have to tell me.
Yes, I know. I've been there a couple of times myself. But when it comes to the politics in New Jersey, it's kind of weird because it's absolutely a blue state. But there's always a couple of states, specifically up there in the Northeast. There are states that, generally speaking, will. The people who live there will happily elect a Republican as their governor, even though they will always, go for the Democrat when it comes to a presidential race.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is that could we see the governor's mansion? Could we see a Republican moving into the governor's mansion? I'm not entirely sure, but I wouldn't rule it out. And I think it's going to be, and I think the final result of that race is going to be possibly a difference of 2, maybe 3 points.
Yeah, yes, that makes sense. But yeah, as you say, they're not unaccustomed to it. Chris Christie was governor there, of course. But yeah, I think that's the closest race. Now let's talk about the one that is nowhere near a close race, where really everybody knows what the result's going to be. It's just by how much, and that's New York City with Zohran Mamdani. Currently, I believe he's about 17 points ahead of former Governor Andrew Cuomo. I mean, that's as good as a done deal as you get in politics, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's amazing. I'm very surprised. I mean, okay, you got obviously Mamdani is benefiting from the fact that Curtis Sliwa is kind of splitting the vote with Cuomo. And there's a lot of conservatives apparently in New York who are kind of throwing their weight behind Cuomo because they know that he's if anyone's going to beat Mamdani, it's going to be him. And Sliwa kind of splitting off of that vote is definitely hurting Cuomo's chances and helping Mamdani. And of course, I guess people are just listening to this man promise everything for free, and they somehow think he can actually deliver on that. And so therefore, that's why he's almost certainly going to be the next mayor of New York.
Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? Because the people who, as you say, the conservatives who are now backing Andrew Cuomo, they don't like Andrew Cuomo. But so I wonder if maybe Cuomo has actually reached his ceiling here, because, as you say, a lot of conservatives, they don't like Cuomo. They're doing it just to stave off a Mamdani win, and it's not looking like this is making any difference. And so you're in this position where there's a ceiling here, because there are some that are just not going to vote for Andrew Cuomo. They Republicans by and large here, they remember what he was like as governor. They remember the scandals, the COVID overreach, things like this. And they don't want to put him back in office, and they don't want to be part of putting him back into a powerful position. And so the supporters of Curtis Sliwa are getting a lot of stick at the moment, saying, well, why isn't Sliwa endorsing Cuomo? And I think, I think the answer to that's fairly obvious for them, right? Why would they want to take part in something they're ideologically opposed to, even if it, potentially staves off a Mamdani win, it's a very, very slim potential there.
Well, I think generally speaking, my view on that is that generally speaking, people who generally tend to vote Republican are much less willing than people who vote Democrat to sort of betray your own principles if it means that you get the desired political outcome. You know what I mean? Democrat voters will often they'll shift their alliances for to create tactical advantages. I believe that conservatives are less willing to do that. They're just like, well, no, this is my guy and this is who I'm voting for.
For those who disagree with Graham's assessment there, I offer you the J. Jones proof to Attorney General in Virginia. You had you have people condemning what he said, wishing young children, young blameless kindergarten-age children dead in their mother's arms, and yet they still think, and these are elected officials saying, still it's better to have a Democrat than a Republican in the Attorney General's office. And so, yes, I think when you say that some people are willing to form alliances or vote tactically, I think that is more of a thing on the left, because the left is a broader church overall. There's no doubt about that. There's blue dog Democrats who I think they have more in line with more traditional conservatives than anything else. But then you've got like far left progressives, and they all come under this one banner. Whereas,
and I think the one thing that the very core of left-wing political ideology is that the ends always justify the means.
yes, that's never a true word spoken there. And we've seen that. It's been the slogan of countless riots. It's been the high point of numerous politicians' speeches, being there by any means necessary, we've got to win. And those words, those are possibly, unlike Ronald Reagan's most terrifying words in the English language, I'm from the government and I'm here to help, is elected politicians or elected hopefuls saying, we're going to win, and we're going to do this, we're going to achieve this by any means necessary. Now that's a truly frightening thought. Graham J. Noble, thanks ever so much for being here.
It's a pleasure, Mark.
We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.